Former #1 pick, MVP, All-Pro, Cam Newton. I've been doing the show for a long time. You finally come on. It is so good to have you, sir.
It's good to see you, bro.
Welcome to Vegas.
Yes.
The fresh hat. We're into it. All right, let's dive into this because you're making a lot of noise with this Purdy game manager take. Do you trust him on a game-winning drive in the Super Bowl?
I trust his resources.
Good answer.
I trust Debo. I trust George Kittle. I trust Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk. I trust those guys. And as he has those at his disposal, so yes. So it's that. I think it's no hate. It's no, you can't corner that narrative of, you know, he's bitter, he sounds this, he's out. It's not that. It's when I think about the 49ers, it's a loaded team. And did he ask for that? No. But he's been playing lights out football, something that a lot of people have took notice to, and he's in this position because he has been playing great ball. So yeah.
Well, I'm going to take this conversation and I'm going to hand it over to Shannon and Doggy, but I want to say this on national television, as a show, personally, me personally, I owe you an apology. We owe you an apology, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Because whether we agree or disagree with your synopsis, your dissection of Brock Purdy and whether he's a game manager as opposed to a game changer or anything like that, what it deteriorated into was people questioning whether you had the right to say it.
Yes, sir.
That was never the intent. You former #1 overall pick, former league MVP, who took a team to a Super Bowl appearance with less. At the quarterback position. So to me, it's not a matter, Shannon, of agreeing or disagreeing. You have the right to have the opinion that you had. So I want to say on national television, I'm gonna take onus for that. Even though I wasn't calling you out like that. Damn it, we were talking about it on the show. So you deserve an apology for that. That's all I wanted to say about that before I hand it over to y'all.
The greatest quarterback in our game was a game manager.
Elite.
But let me tell you why. Because Tom Brady could understand very early on what the game called for. I need to throw for 400 this game. Nah, you see the way that defense is playing? You see, nah. I just don't need to put the ball in harm's way. Look at Patrick Mahomes in the second half. He was a game manager because he and Andy came to the conclusion there's no way Baltimore can beat us if we don't give them a pick six or a scoop and score, put the ball in harm's way, or put them on a short field. Make them drive 80, make them drive 90. And I want to tell this story, and I'm going to turn it over to you, dog. We was playing Kansas City in the divisional round, and it was 4th and 1. I think we were probably on like the 30-yard line. And Mike called timeout, and he wanted to go for it. And John said, no. Don't do that. Don't let them get this crowd into the ball game. Let's punt the ball, make them drive the ball. So in that moment, John Elway, we know who he was. He's a former MVP and would later win Super Bowl MVP. He became a game manager because he understood what the game called for. I get what you're saying. People try to corner me. Is he elite? I said, look, I look at I guess I measure, you and I measure eliteness on a different level.
Yes, sir.
Because I said it needs to become with consistency and it needs to come with time. But we live in a society now, we want everything to be what we wanted. One game got thrown for 350, 3 touchdowns. Oh, he elite. After one game, you've seen enough after one game to call somebody elite.
It helped to pump when Elvis Gerbach was the chief quarterback. I think he was. I think he was. Was that the Gerbach?
He was.
They won the
Yo.
Now, do we give Purdy? I agree with you. I mean, and remember when Samuel didn't play, Trent Williams didn't play the last 3 games. And you have every right to say what you want. If I can say stuff like that, I didn't play, you can say stuff like that. That's the bottom line. Little Chris Russo can say Purdy's a game manager. So can Cam Newton. That's number one. Number two, though, do we give Purdy a lot of credit for the Green Bay game? He had the weapons the whole game. He did not play well. Should have had pick sixes. And then that last drive with the season on the line, 6 of 7, spread the ball around. Even Kittle dropped one, and they scored the game-winning touchdown.
But this is the thing that we have to talk about sports, especially in football. There's so many different determining factors in football, right? Let's take the greatest of all time. If Adam Vinatieri shanks that field goal,
what are we talking about?
What are we really talking about? If the tuck rule is not, a lot of those things are happens because of so many factors that plays. I heard the segment before in regards to a successful year with Lamar Jackson. It was a lot of things. It wasn't just Lamar.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's things that happens behind the scenes. It may be a defensive stop. It may be this. It may be that. My last thing, too, in regards to Tom Brady. Now, obviously, people know that I had a stint, in New England.
Yeah, I want to get into that after.
I had access to watching how he played this game. Tom Brady was playing faster than people were thinking.
Right.
Playing faster than what you're thinking. Mm-hmm. His ability to go from one check to the next check to the next check, it was just, it was like masterful. So dare I not mention elite game managing as a art of swordsman to be able to, attack a defense.
So there's a skill to it.
It's an elite skill.
What is the standard? Is it the standard determined by history, and doesn't history get to measure what present should be?
Absolutely. But it's still a lot of that goes into it.
Okay.
It's a lot of, so it's two different folds, and it's perfect analogy here. We're determining Lamar's success off of the inability to win a game. Mm-hmm. That he wasn't blown out. Right. It was a one-score game.
Yeah.
Right? So that means the defense could have got a stop.
Right.
There was a questionable call, pass interference. That was questioned too.
Yep.
It was just so many different things that could have happened. All right, cool.
Okay.
That's the bad. The good is everybody's doing their job for the 49ers, and we see that type of success. Brandon Ayuk catches a ball that bounces off of a head, and then, boom, that's a play to be had. Right. Certain things not being called. And it is what it is. So there are not mentioned the factors to the fact of what we're really talking about.
How would Cam Newton have judged his season? You're 15-1. You lose a home championship game, and you become the MVP. How would Cam have judged his season?
Well, I did as much as I possibly could to put my team in the position to win. And that's all. Like, at the end of the day, we all say these things. I play to win the game.
Right.
Okay, now put a microscope to that. I have to do my job, just like, going into that locker room, going into that huddle, it's 11 guys that needs to do one job, not one guy trying to do 11 jobs.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. But when you're great, the belief is you take into account the ability to spot those on that particular day I'm talking about that ain't doing their job. How do you make up for it? Because when you're great and you're paid to be great, and the recognition and notoriety you receive validates your greatness as well. There is more that's expected from you as opposed to some dude riding the bench.
So, but you still have to, listen, going back to Tom Brady. Tom Brady greatness wasn't great when he, we identified that greatness when he had Randy Moss.
Okay.
Tom Brady greatness happened when he had Danny Amendola.
Yep.
When he had Julian Edelman.
Yep.
These unproven at
Troy
that
Brown,
particular point of time.
Cam, he was also clutch in the biggest moments.
For sure, but he gave guys opportunities, and the moment was never too big for Danny Amendola, Julian Edelman, Rob Gronkowski. Those guys said, "Give me an opportunity."
Studs.
And made plays.
Can I transition real quick? Because this is still baffling to me, and I want to go back to your stint in New England, and maybe you have some answers. So, in my time, I think Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time.
He is.
He's a genius. Why does he not have a job? Can you explain this to me?
I don't know Williams' situation. Like, he can enjoy the fruits of his labor. That's okay too. But I don't necessarily know. I think people know what he brings to the table, what he brings to a franchise. And I think the thing, when I first got there, Robert Kraft assured me that you're not going to have another franchise that's going to be pulling in alignment in the same direction. Robert Kraft never questions Bill's, judgment on players and everything else. I don't know if other people are able to give him that.
Well, I think it's easy. I think the answer to that question is easy, y'all. It's very, very simple. You see guys getting hired today, they're younger.
Yeah.
And what happens is they want their own thing. Bill Belichick's been running his own shop for 2 decades.
Yeah.
Do you believe for 1 second that some young dude that Bill Belichick has forgotten more football than that individual may know is going to be able to oversee anything Bill Belichick is running? They're not going to hire him because they don't want to have to deal with that. They know how knowledgeable and accomplished he is, and they're in no position to tell him anything.
Man, listen, winning comes at a cost.
I'm talking about the young kids that got those GM jobs and stuff like that.
I'm speaking on regards to the people who is making the hiring. It comes with a cost.
Right.
You want to put your ego aside or you want to win?
There you go.
Yeah.
Simple and plain.
And
are you going to be able to ask that of Coach Belichick? But I think it goes a little further. I think it's twofold.
Okay.
I look at Coach Belichick's career pre-Brady, with Brady, post-Brady.
Yeah.
Now, how they look. Now, he's not going to have Brady at one of these stops.
That's right.
Also, at 70-plus years of age, how does that message resonate with the young guys when you don't have a Tom Brady-like quarterback to oversee and smooth everything out?
Let me say that, Timmy, to this point, too. The year that I came in,
yes,
it was more than just the absence of Brady. Linebacker, safety, Patrick Chung. You had a lot of leadership that left, too.
Yeah.
Brady was obviously the public figure that garnered a lot of attention. Julian Edelman being injured, those guys didn't know the consistency of how practice is able to, how to be a pro.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So it wasn't just Brady, Rob, you know, like contrary to what people may believe, it was so much that was flushed in a 1 to 2 year span that I don't think he could gain his footing from, you know, in that locker room, because now you're depending on other sources that aren't vetted to be thrusted into that realm of the Patriot way.